In this video, we're going to take a quick look at what business analytics is. The main point of this video is to give you a simple definition for the term business analytics. We'll start by looking at how the trend in business analytics interest has changed over time. If we see, for example, using Google Trends is a pretty neat little tool. It allows you to enter in any search term and it will show you the search traffic, the volume of the search traffic for that particular term over the last few years. So here we see the Google Trends results for the term business analytics from 2004 to the beginning of 2017, and we see a steady increase. This is good. This is good for you. You're learning about a topic that is hot, a topic that is of great interest. We're starting to see a number of new graduate and undergraduate programs in business analytics, and I think we'll continue to see this trend for a long time as people understand the value of business analytics to their firm. So let's take a basic look at how we should define business analytics. If you go online and you Google it, you're going to find that there are a variety of definitions for the term business analytics. There really is no consensus about what business analytics actually is. However, I'm going to give you a definition that is similar to the definition provided in the textbook, but what I've done is I've simplified it a little bit, I think, to make it a bit easier to remember. So we're going to simply define business analytics as transformation. Transformation is a process by which we add value to something. We take an input, we transform it in some way, and transform it into some type of output, just like we do in regular sort of operations management activities. We transform data. We got plenty of data. Over the last few decades, data has become ubiquitous. Data is everywhere. It's pretty easy to get data, whereas 30, 40, 50 years ago, obtaining data might have been a problem. Now data is everywhere. So data isn't necessarily the problem. It's what we do with the data. So we transform data to information. So information is data that has been cleaned and prepared and is ready for analysis. And then we take that information, and from that information we generate insights. Insights are actionable things that we can take to a manager or take to a board or to a CEO or whatever the case might be, to a client, and say, based upon the data that you've provided us, based upon the problem that you're trying to solve, these are the things that we recommend. Along the way, as we do this transformation, we take data, transform it to information, take that information, transform it to insight. All along that way, we're adding value, and value in the eyes of our customer or our client. Now, when we talk about analytics a little bit deeper, we'll break down analytics really into three categories. And in this course, we follow this structure of breaking analytics into the kind of its three pieces. The first is descriptive analytics. You guys have had some exposure to this when you took a basic statistics class, for example. So these are basically summaries of existing data from the past, data that we've previously generated. We're going to look at things like means, standard deviations. We're going to look at distributions of data. We're basically, as the term kind of might suggest, we're going to describe what the data looks like. All of this is in the area of descriptive analytics. A common technique that we'll see in descriptive analytics, and we'll come back to this one later in the course, is the idea of a dashboard. So how can we take what can be a large and complex set of data and provide a meaningful summary, particularly for a manager or an executive, someone who needs to see that information to be able to take action on it, and dashboarding is a good way to do that. The next type of analytics is predictive analytics. This is probably the area of analytics that has gotten the most sort of press and the most media over the last decade or so. The idea that we're going to be able to predict either customer behavior or demand for a product or whatever the case might be. We're going to be able to predict something based on past data. So, for example, we might take data on a survey and combine that with data about purchasing, and then be able to determine what a new product, how well a new product might do in the market, all those kind of things. So these are very sort of classic analytical things that people do. And again, when most people think of analytics sort of in the modern sense, most people are thinking of predictive analytics. The last type of analytics that we encounter is called prescriptive analytics. And so this basically is where we for example, we have data, we've tried to predict demand, and now that we have an estimate of what the demand might be, how do we use that information? So, what products do we stock? What products do we choose not to stock? What routes do we send our delivery vehicles on? That type of thing. So we'll spend some time on this, particularly in the idea of optimization. So we've got resources, we've got constraints. Every business problem that we face essentially has some type of constraint, whether it's financial or otherwise, and we're going to try to find the best solution, the best answer based upon those resources and those associated constraints. We'll talk later about the idea of simulation. This is dealing with the concept of uncertainty, and then also decision analysis, which is another topic that we don't cover in detail in this course, but is also probably considered to be prescriptive.